Hey guys, welcome to Beers and Bonsais. For this week, we are going to do just some minor wiring and adjustments to my San Jose Juniper. But I will also just give a quick introduction to myself. I don't think I've ever introduced who I am or what got me into bonsai, so while I wire, I'll just talk and explain why I like to work on bonsais. So hopefully you like the video. So what got me into bonsai? So my name is Steven, and what got me into bonsai? I think originally I had gotten into bonsai on my own. No one really influenced me. I think the most influence I had was watching maybe The Karate Kid. Um, I loved the original movie, and no, I haven't seen Cobra Kai yet. Like something I need to check out. But I think the principles that were discussed in the movie were some of the reasons why I got into bonsai. I also thought they would look really, really nice, and I always had this connection to nature in some format. I remember when I was a kid, my parents would take me to a local greenhouse pretty often, and I just loved it. And they had all different types of plants there. It's not just bonsai greenhouse or anything like that. But I remember just being fascinated by the smells and just what those plants look like, and um, just brings back, I guess, childhood memories for me. So that's kind of how I got into bonsai as well, why I like it. Might trim this piece off some point. I'm gonna leave it there and let it grow. But what I'm doing here is practically just wiring most everything down. Um, you want to make sure the pads are developed, and then the sun's actually reaching some of these branches. So that's kind of why I'm doing this, just to increase growth rates and exposure. So what's my favorite tree? As of right now, my favorite tree is it might be a tie actually. It's either my ficus that I've had for a while, or my Japanese black pine. You guys probably have seen that in multiple videos. The ficus, as some of you may know, was one of my first bonsai trees recently that I had purchased with my daughter. So there's sentimental value there. And then the black pine is one of the first ones I've had. So I've had it for a while now. think actually longer than the ficus. So I guess time with something makes you like it a little bit more. It's also it's not the biggest tree I have. The actually both of them are not the biggest trees I have. This actually might be one of the biggest and oldest I actually, no, correction. This may be one of the oldest I own, but it's not the biggest. I'll come back in here and trim up some of those wires. I know that wiring isn't beautiful. And to be honest, you don't need to make your wiring beautiful. Anyway, you're not putting these into shows, or if you are, then obviously you need to do something about that. But if you're not putting these into shows, then there's no need for you to make it super attractive. You just want to kind of maximize everything that you have and do it appropriately. There's a few branches in here I probably don't need. Keep one. And typically what you want to do with your branches is bring them down when there are trees in the wild. The foliage of the tree will essentially bring and weigh each of the branches down. So if you are unsure of how much you should just bring it down, step away, come back, and then readjust. With this San Jose juniper, I really want to utilize gloves if you don't like getting pinched by the needles, because they do holler as you're working on these. But if you don't mind the pinching, then don't worry about it. But my recommendation is use protection when you can. I want to get into this branch, but there's a lot in there. It's pinching me. There's also a branch in there that's not needed. I like to wire from the bottom up. Some people can do it the opposite way, but I do from the bottom up, again, just to cascade branches appropriately. It also helps if you are working on some type of conifer to not get pinched. Which I am getting pinched right now, but it's life. I am also recycling a lot of my wire that I had on different plants. Probably seen me just reuse a lot of this stuff. And I do think that I could just cut everything off and then call it a day, but why not reuse and recycle? And yes, wiring is fairly cheap, but still. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I think there's 5 R's now. So I'm just making like 3 levels on this. 1 level here, 1 level here, and then the top level. So everything in between will be most likely cut off or separated. And typically they say anything that's pointing upwards you should just cut off, but a lot of these aren't really pointing up, it's just the way that it grows. They tend to, once you develop your pads, right, they tend to start to curl back up to get some sun. So that's kind of why they look like this. So I most likely won't show all that, but you will definitely see the bare minimum of what I do. Okay. I'll keep working on this and then I will get back to you guys afterwards. So enjoy. okay, that's about it for now. Just let it grow. It's still very good in health. So be on the lookout for this tree. Thank you guys. See you guys again.